$90,400. That's what you make. Not a round number, because real salaries aren't round. Yours came in 3 pieces: 102,000 base, 31,000 in annual bonus, 17,400 in what your company calls a long-term incentive, which vests in tranches and feels, every time it hits, like found money, like something extra, like something you can afford to treat differently than the rest. You are 38. You have been earning this kind of income for 6 years. In the world's accounting, you are doing exceptionally well. In your own accounting, something is wrong, and you have known it longer than you've been willing to say out loud. You have 61,000 in a 401k, 14,000 in savings, 340 in a brokerage account you opened during the pandemic and never funded properly. You have spent, conservatively, $1.1 million in the last 6 years. You have $75,500 to show for it. That math is the thing you don't look at directly. The way you don't look at certain mirrors and certain lights. This is not a story about irresponsibility. You are thoughtful, educated, careful in most areas of your life. You did not do anything reckless. You did something quieter and more common and more permanent. You optimized for how the income felt and forgot to build anything with it. The income became the architecture. And income, unlike architecture, does not hold its shape when it stops. The first year, the offer letter says $11,000. You are 32. You have been making $74,000, and the gap between those two figures feels like a different country. You make sensible decisions. A nicer apartment, $2,200 instead of $1,400. A car that fits the new role. Restaurants that bring bread without asking. These don't feel like decisions. They feel like natural calibrations. This is what the money is for. You put 6% into the 401k to get the match. You tell yourself you'll increase that when things settle down. Things don't settle down. Things just become normal. Year 2. The bonus arrives. Placid. After tax about $14,800. You take a trip. Pay down a card. Put $2,000 in savings. Spend the rest on things you can no longer specifically identify. Furniture. Clothes appropriate to the new position. A television that costs more than your first car payment. Your savings account, $6,400. Your 401k, $14,200. You feel, on balance, like you're doing fine. Year 3. You are promoted. 138,000 base. The lifestyle barely shifts because it already shifted. What shifts is the baseline. The $100 dinner feels like a reasonable Tuesday. You are not measuring yourself against where you started. You are measuring yourself against the people around you, who are spending at exactly the rate you are, which makes the rate feel correct. You do not increase your 401k contribution. You made $103,000 this year. You saved $8,200. That is a 5% savings rate. The math has a name. You don't call it that. You call it living well, which is true, and also insufficient. Year 4. Something cracks. A Sunday in April. Doing taxes, the software shows a year-over-year comparison you didn't ask to see. What you earned. What you contributed to retirement. The ratio is what a 24-year-old in their first job might have. You stare at it. Close the laptop. Make dinner. Don't think about it for 3 weeks. Then think about it constantly. You make a plan. Max the 401k. Increase savings to 20%. Invest $1,000 a month in index funds. The plan is correct. It lasts 11 weeks. Life happens in week 12. The plan compresses into good intentions and then into memory. Your 401k, $38,000. 4 years in. Year 5. Someone at a dinner party says renting is throwing money away. You've heard this before. This time it lands. You buy a condo for $680,000. Down payment, $146,000. Assemble from the savings account, a bonus, and a line of credit. You feel, for the first time in years, like you've done something real, something that will compound. Liquid savings after closing. ARC, $200. New mortgage, $3,890 a month. HOA, $600. Property taxes annualized, $9,100. The place is beautiful. The word asset appears in how you think about yourself. The unit will appreciate. It will also consume. For now, the consuming is what's happening. Year 6. The income hits $190,000. After taxes at your bracket, what lands is $125,000 annually, roughly $10,400 a month. Fixed costs, mortgage and HOA, $4,510. Car lease, $810. Insurance, $600 plate. Student loan, $300. Subscriptions known and forgotten, $360. Total fixed, $690. Variable spending, historically around $3,200 a month. Total, $9,800. You have $510 left. You're putting $9,600 a year into the 401k. Savings rate, 8.3%. Income, $100,000. The years are accumulating. If you retire at 65, you have 27 years. Your 401k grows to roughly $480,000. The condo appreciates modestly to $1.1 million with $390,000 remaining on the mortgage, leaving $710,000 in equity. Total net worth at retirement, $1.2 million. The 4% withdrawal rule supports $48,000 a year in income. You are currently spending $11,000 a year. You look at that gap on a Wednesday morning, sober, before work. You let it be as large as it actually is. What the income hid. The income was so large, it made the decisions feel small. A $3,200 dinner budget sounds like extravagance until it sits beside $190,000. Then it sounds like nothing. A $10 lease sounds like discipline. The $106,000 down payment felt like investing. Each individual number, in the context of the income, seemed proportionate. What they were, collectively, was a system where income arrived and departed at almost the same velocity, leaving behind comfort and very little structure. High income is not accumulation. Most people understand this intellectually. Very few feel it. The ones who feel it are usually sitting where you're sitting on a Wednesday morning, looking at a spreadsheet that doesn't lie, trying to understand how 6 figures a year for 6 years became $75,000 in net assets. The income was always supposed to be the beginning, the foundation from which something was built. Instead, it became the thing itself. The lifestyle was the architecture. The income was the load-bearing wall. And you spent 6 years assuming the wall would always be there. What changes? Not everything at once. That's the version that happens in content, not in life. What happens in life is slower and more durable. You cancel 2 subscriptions on a Tuesday. You move $800 a month into a brokerage account before the money can go anywhere else. The bonus? All of it. Goes into assets before it goes anywhere else. The 401k increases to the annual maximum. These changes cost $2,300 a month in disposable income. The dining budget comes down. Travel gets planned instead of impulsive. Nothing about your life feels dramatically different. And yet something is different. The direction is different. The direction is, finally, the right one. What you carry. The math still works. Starting at 38 with 190,000, and a real change in direction is not foreclosed. It is compressed. It requires more precision than it would have at 28. It does not require a miracle. But something doesn't come back. Not the money. The time. The compounding years between 32 and 38. When the income was at its most powerful and the obligations were at their lightest and every decision was made on the basis of how it felt rather than what it built. Those years are the cost. They were expensive. They are gone. Income is not a number. Income is a rate. A rate of water filling a bucket. If the bucket has no bottom, the rate doesn't matter. You had no bottom. The lifestyle expanded as fast as the income did. And then a little faster? Because lifestyle is maintained by inertia, and income requires action to direct. The 401k match is not a retirement plan. The 6% contribution is the company's minimum requirement, wearing the costume of a saving strategy. You believed it for 6 years. The first asset you own should not be the thing you live in. The condo created an illusion of wealth and then immediately consumed the liquidity that could have built actual wealth. You needed $136,000 in a brokerage account more than you needed quartz countertops. You got the countertops. They are beautiful. They are not compounding. On a Wednesday in October, you are sitting at the desk in a condo you own in a building you can afford in a life that looks, from outside, like everything working correctly. The first automatic transfer to the brokerage cleared yesterday. $800. You watched it leave. You thought it would feel like loss. It feels like something else. Something that has the texture of a direction. Of a thing, finally, going somewhere. You close the spreadsheet. You go to work. The income arrives on the 1st and 15th. This time you are waiting for it with somewhere for it to go. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.